So it is a beautiful day today. It's like overnight the leaves just changed to the beautiful fall colors and all the leaves are falling to the ground. But I thought today I would show you guys my cover crop of what it looks like now, because in a couple days we're gonna get our first frost and it's all gonna go away. So I'm gonna take it all in and look at the beautiful green color, and I'm gonna show you guys how tall this cover crop has got before it all dies off, and just show you guys how beautiful this cover crop is. And I'm really happy with the results that I got this year from using oats and peas, and then of course the mixed stuff that I mixed in. Everything just looks so good. All right, so looking at this big watermelon and pumpkin patch. In my previous video, when I first was seeding all this stuff, I said I was going to buy some more seed. Well, I did not end up reseeding any of this. The only reseeding that I did was in the top corner up there, because I still had some, I believe it was squash growing, some zucchini and yellow squash. And just in that little corner is the only thing that I reseeded. So I did not end up reseeding all this. I left it as is whenever I broadcast sowed everything. So looking back here, broadcasting it and raking it in worked just perfect without a seeder or anything like that. I didn't get really technical with it. If you guys look on my back video on how I seeded this, I literally raked up the soil, threw it down, and lightly raked it in. And then look at this. It all came up so beautiful. And I didn't have to reseed anything. It all is really thick. So I am really happy that that turned out. It's not as tall as I really want it to be just yet. But right now, the back of it, you can see more of the buckwheat growing, the taller stuff. So I did not have a lot of buckwheat that I had thrown in here. There's some scattered out, but it's totally fine. This is way thick enough so whenever we do get a frost and it kills off, this will definitely cover this whole entire patch just fine. Now looking in here, I took out the rest of my cabbage the other day. So half of this bed is cover crop and the other half I actually seeded, which I don't think I have enough time for it to grow, but I seeded it anyways. And then looking over here, it's pretty tall. This is the very first bed that I seeded this season for fall cover crop. And then my squash row, I still got pumpkins growing. They haven't turned orange yet. Still waiting on that to turn orange. And then looking over here at the cucumber row, they're pretty tall right now too. So this would be perfect once it dies off. I will cover this whole row, make sure all the soil is covered for winter. And then looking at the flower rows, you can see some of the buckwheat is really tall and flowering. I'm just going to leave everything, let it go to seed. And then this flower row, everything's looking really good. Green, beautiful, growing great. So proud. Okay, and then walking over here to the tomato buckets, look how beautiful this has grown. I mean, just look at that. This is definitely gonna really help the tomatoes next year, especially with the nitrogen from the peas, and then obviously a good cover to keep the soil covered in these buckets so they don't dry out over the months of winter. So I'm really happy that these grown so well. So you can see right here, that's my asparagus, and I have some celery that was planted underneath. So I do have some celery that I actually can start cutting and putting in the freezer. And then this is my little row that I'm going to be planting garlic in next month. And here are those few leeks that I left in the ground. See what they do whenever the frost hits, doing a little experiment. And that's where the sweet potato bed was. And all the 2 potato beds. I got some green onions growing here. And of course my lettuce row. And this is what I'm talking about. This is the broccoli that didn't do very good. And I got some cauliflower down there. And this is my cabbage row. This is what the little cabbage that I have left. I'm gonna see if they'll get bigger throughout the season. And then over here is the cover crops that I was talking about. Really sad to see everything go the next week. I'm gonna miss all the green color. Exciting to start another season and where I'm gonna plant stuff. I already have some changes that I made for next year. So it's been a great year. And I'll take you over here. Look at this lettuce that's growing. It's beautiful. Look at that. This is actually ready to be harvested. I believe I'm going to trim it, and I think it grows right back. And then underneath here, this is that lettuce that I grew the other day. It's looking pretty good. I actually probably need to water a little bit. Looks like it might be, it's a little moist, but it could use more water. We are actually calling for rain. All of this, I believe it starts tomorrow. It's going to start raining just for like a week. Just chances of rain. I'm not sure if it's a solid rain, but we really need it. We haven't had rain in a while. And it'd just be nice not having to run my hoses anymore. This actually might be the last time that I will run my hose these next 2 days. And I might actually have to winterize them. So we'll see about that. Look at this, I got some potatoes growing back from our harvest. Could probably dig those up and see what they look like. And here's some more lettuce. I just sprinkled some lettuce right here close to the walkway, so it'd be easy to come in and trim. But I'm excited. We're gonna be fixing these beds this winter. So that's gonna get a makeover. You can see all the beautiful flowers of the buckwheat. It honestly probably won't have enough time to go to seed because we are going to get our first frost in a couple days, so. But I don't mind it going to seed because it's just going to feed my soil next year whenever it pops up in the spring and starts growing again. So this is the row, the flower row that's mixed with oats and peas and radishes and buckwheat. Got everything in there. So it is extremely windy today, so I am very sorry for the video sound, but I'm very happy of how all this looks. I'm going to show you guys how tall this is right here where the cucumbers are. I mean, just look at this. It goes up to my knees. in my greenhouse today because it is extremely windy outside and there's no way that you guys could hear me on my camera. So if you hear some rattling, it's the greenhouse panels, but this is the best place that I have to record this. But I came out to my berry patch today to check on those strawberry runners that I planted in early September. So in my previous video, if you guys have watched it, you have seen me transplant these strawberry runners, and then I thought it was kind of late in the season, which it wasn't. They all actually are surviving, so I'm really happy. They're all still green and beautiful, and they actually need a little bit of water right now, but they all survived, and I'm very happy that they did, because that just means that I won't have to buy that many strawberry plants next spring to fill in this bed. I'm still gonna go ahead and buy some for next spring to plant, but I won't have to buy as many. So I'm really happy that they all have survived. Now we still have to go through winter time, but I'm gonna wait until these actually go more dormant and die off just a little bit more before I start covering them with straw, because you don't want to cover them way too soon. But I wanted to show you guys what they look like and how green they have stayed. So I'm going to turn you guys around so you guys can see what they look like. Okay, so again, it is super windy today. Okay, so on this end, I didn't plant hardly any runners because I ran out. So there's not very many, but when you do look through here, they are still green. Now they're probably starting to go a little bit more dormant on some of them. But look in here, still green, and then still green. But down here I have a lot more that I planted, and they are still really green, and they all have really survived ever since I transplanted them early September. So I just think that's so awesome that they all survived, and I kept watering them, making sure it didn't dry out, which right now it looks extremely dry. We actually are going to get some rain, so I'm excited for that. But I might go ahead and just hit them real quick with water. That way I'm not stressing any of the plants right now, because I don't want them to struggle with needing water. But this is going to be the brand new bed next year. So hopefully we'll get some good strawberries off the ones that I planted. Now the new ones that I'm going to plant next spring, they probably won't produce very many strawberries until the plants get more mature. And then this bed is probably going to go the same exact thing that I did with this one. This is going on 4 seasons, still getting strawberries, but not very many. So I will probably be ripping out this bed as well and planting brand new strawberry plants in this one for, it'll be a next season whenever this one really starts taking off. And then this bed over here, this bed is the brand new bed that I planted this spring. We should have beautiful strawberries in this bed next year. And then I also have another bed right here. It really doesn't do that great because there's a tree that shades it right here. So we might have to do something different with that spot next year. But and you can see here this path, we've been putting boiling water down this path on, you can definitely tell that we need to do the middle section, but boiling water actually has really helped the weeds not coming back. This has always been an issue with weeds, so I'm going to continue just putting boiling water on it just to kill out this grass so we can see the walking path. But I am so happy that next year I won't have to buy so many plants, and they really survived. And I'll probably wait closer to Thanksgiving to actually cover all these beds with straw. You want to make sure that they're completely dormant and kind of died off a little bit, and they look dead, because you don't want to cover it too soon whenever they're green, because you might, you know, kill off the strawberries too soon and they won't produce very many berries next year if you cover them way too quick. So I'm just going to give that a little bit, probably closer to Thanksgiving.